So let me explain the practical difference between Les Paul pickups and Stratocaster pickups. Let me tell you how I ended up really comfortable with my Les Paul and what I learned when I tried to switch to a Stratocaster later. Now, there's a story with how I got my Les Paul, but you can watch my Guitar Center video if you want to hear about that. This story starts with when I started to play for church consistently, electric guitar, and I needed presets that were going to be really close to the original recordings of the songs that we were performing. I was using just an HX Stomp at the time, and I needed to kind of get this done quickly because at the time, there would be very little time from when the church told us what the set was going to be and when we had to be ready to play it. For some reason, it just happened with my Les Paul. I just was able to get the sounds I wanted with my Les Paul, and I was so time constrained that I wasn't really interested in making it work for any guitar. I was happy just to have it work at all. And that led to a situation where all my presets were dialed in for my Les Paul. And there's one very specific feature on the Les Paul that became integral to how I used it and how I played the songs. Independent volume knobs. I dial the neck volume back to 8.5. And what that does is on the neck pickup, it gives me some, and then on the middle, it gives me more. And then with the bridge pickup, it gives me most. That axis of some, more, most became very important for how I performed the songs and how I arranged them for electric guitar. Over and against the axis of some, more, most on the pickup selection, there was another axis of some, more, most in my patches. Here is an early patch of mine to make a general Hillsong sound. I'm not going to show you the parameters of most of these blocks because most of this I had gotten from a YouTube channel called Guitar for His Glory. I paid for the presets and I wouldn't want to just give it to you for free. That wouldn't be right. I ended up with clean, crunchy, that's with a distortion pedal on, and lead, and that's with a gainier distortion pedal on. And that's my some, more, most in the actual pedal board, signal chain, whatever you want to call it. So my electric guitar arrangements for all these songs we were doing in church were very dependent on that 3x3 axis of tones with the 3 pickup positions and with the 3 snapshots in the HX Stomp. So as an example, I could play just a clean tone, neck pickup. This is going to be the cleanest thing. And ideally, I have this set where I could hit it really hard and it will break up just slightly. So even if I hit it as hard as I can on the neck pickup, on the clean setting, it's going to be pretty much still clean. If I go to the middle pickup, I could hit it harder. I could play clean, but there's a little bit of drive there if I dig in. On the bridge pickup, it's actually a little dirty, but if I lighten up, then it's clean. Clean with a light touch. Doesn't take a lot to get it to break it. If I go to my crunchy setting, I'm usually not going to be on the neck pickup on the crunchy setting, but I could play a little. It's still pretty clean on the neck pickup. But on the middle pickup, it's pretty dirty. Could I clean it up? Yeah, I could still clean it up with a light touch on the crunch with my middle pickup selector. On the crunch setting with the bridge pickup, it's hard to clean that up with a light touch. I can though. Now moving to a lead tone, this is going to be a lot of distortion. In church, it's very common to do simple octaves like that with a lot of distortion. That's a thing. Very rarely would I use anything but the bridge pickup on the lead setting, but I could. Let's see what it would sound like. Something. Middle pickup. Back to bridge. Here's clean on the neck pickup. Clean on the neck pickup doesn't sound bad, but it doesn't sound like what the sound was supposed to be. It was supposed to be darker, kind of in the background, kind of something swelling up from below. Let's see if we get more from the middle pickup. It kind of works. I mean, I can play clean. It's dirty. If I dig in, barely dirty, even if I dig in. There's just not as much here. Even if I dig in on the neck pickup, that's clean. There's just not as much input. So with these parameters, this signal chain is all set up for humbuckers. And if I feed it single coil signal, the gain staging is all just awry. It's a muck. It's not going to work because the amount of hard that I hit doesn't translate to the same amount of crunch that I need to get. The bridge pickup would be the most on the Les Paul, but when we're on the bridge pickup in the Strat, it's the thinnest, it's the least. Let's do our little test. Light touch. Medium. Still pretty clean. Digging in. I mean, there's nothing there. And that's the problem, is that I would have had to redo the whole signal chain to make this work for a Strat if I have previously set up for a Les Paul. If I had done it the other way, if I had originally dialed this all in for a Stratocaster, I would have the opposite problem if I tried to use my Les Paul. It would just be blowing everything and, it'd just be way too much signal. The problem is not just that the Stratocaster has a lower signal level than a Les Paul. There is no way to get the linearity out of this Stratocaster that I would have with the Les Paul. So there's no sum, more, most. You could almost get there if you treated your bridge pickup as sum. And it's brightest, but it's actually quietest. It seems like you lose volume at the bridge pickup relative to the other two. Seems like there's a little more there, but it's darker. Neck pickup. There's not any more there than on the middle pickup, but it's a little thicker. I don't have an independent volume knob on here to dial back the neck. In a perfect world, I would have separate volumes for each of these pickups, and I could set the rig up where the bridge is where I want it to be for a lot, and then I would just dial it back for the middle, and then dial it back more for the neck. But the volume affects all three, and I'm not really handy with change and do this, and I can't but do so much here at a time in the middle of a song. Also, because the bridge pickup is so bright, if I set the signal chain where the bridge pickup is where everything should be for something big and bright, it's going to be way too bright. It's going to be shrill. It's going to be, what do the YouTube people call it? Ice picky. On a normal Stratocaster, there's no tone knob for a bridge pickup. You can have a modified wiring harness where this tone knob does the bridge pickup and this does the neck and the middle, but a stock Stratocaster, and my Silver Sky included, this tone knob does the neck, this one does the middle, and I have no way to roll off the bridge. So the backwards gain staging didn't really work with my rigs the way I had them set up, starting with the bridge as some and then the neck would be most. It could be done, but it has the same problem where it doesn't jive with how I have my drive pedal set up and stuff like that. The best paradigm, or the closest thing, would be if you treated your 2 and 4 positions as less, and then treated your 1, 3, and 5 as more. Odd positions are some, even positions are less. That's a way to go, because the fact that the middle is wired out of phase with the bridge and the neck means the same thing that gives you that weird scoopy sound also reduces overall signal. So you could make this your clean on 4 and then hit it to the neck to get a little more. Same thing on 2. And then hit to the bridge to get a little more. It's always been problematic for me. I never loved that. I can get by like that. Something about the 4 and the 2 position is super bassy in my signal chains, the way I have them set up. I don't know why. They're not that useful to me. I'm usually staying on 1, 3, or 5. Riding volume would be the best solution. Like if I had the skill to play my guitar, handle my buttons on the floor, be in the music, and also just control the volume knob at every step of the way. That would be the best. But I'm not used to doing that because I'm used to having a Les Paul. I don't have to do that. I can just mix my pickups to each other and then use the pickup selector switch. I usually wind up just camping out on a pickup. I use way less of the pickup selector functions when I'm using a Stratocaster guitar than with a Les Paul. So do Strat guys just not change their pickups? Do they just camp out on a pickup and just stay there? Like, hey, I'm a neck pickup guy. I just play on the neck pickup. Or like, I play on the neck pickup for this song and the bridge pickup for that song. And that's kind of what I end up doing when I use a Stratocaster. I do less here to add dynamics to the song than I would with my Les Paul. But it makes me sad to do that because I just feel like I want to be using all of the Buffalo. It is an opportunity to do more with dynamics, with picking technique, where I pick on the guitar, how I hold the pick, how I turn the pick. So maybe that's a blessing in disguise. Comment below if you play a Stratocaster and you flip the pickup selector all the time during a song, or if you just camp out on one and you just don't care. Comment below if you don't even care if your Strat has a bridge pickup or not. Or maybe you don't even think you like the Fender Stratocaster, but maybe you would if you knew the trick that I'm about to show you. Someone commented on my custom shop versus Squier shootout video asking about this, so let me just explain the whole thing. I've been doing this for years, but I've since heard it being talked about by guys like Nigel Hendroff or Phil McKnight as a way to bridge the gap between guitars for their rig. But I originally got the idea from John Nathan Cordy. So let me not only show you the trick, but give you parameters that you can use with a Stratocaster with any multi-effects unit EQ block or a simple EQ pedal.